So this lesson is about ratios, and ratios are comparisons of two quantities by division. So our first example, we're going to be using shapes, these stars, and we just made up a question. And our question is, what is the ratio of the pink stars to the yellow stars? Now, when you're finding ratios, the order in which you make the ratio matters a great deal. Whatever comes first in the problem is the first quantity in the ratio, and the second is the second quantity. So in this case, the first thing we'll do is we will count the pink stars because it's the first quantity. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 pink stars. So we can write down a 4. The next quantity are the yellow stars, and you just have to do the same thing, count the yellow stars. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we make our colon, and then we write an 8. So the ratio of the pink stars to the yellow stars is 4 to 8. There are 3 different ways that we can write ratios. This is one of the ways with the colon. Another way is by writing fractions. So in this case, the fraction would be 4 over 8. And we can also write ratios using actual words. And we can use the word 2 to write our ratio. So we can do 4 to 8. We can also find equivalent ratios, and these are found by either multiplying or dividing the ratio by the same number. And it has to be the same number, otherwise they won't be equivalent ratios. So in this case, our ratio is 4 to 8. And we can either multiply or divide by any number we want. It just has to be the same number. So in this case, let's just say we'll divide our ratio by the number 2. So that means we have to divide both 4 and 8 by 2. So in this case, 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. So our equivalent ratio would be 2 to 4. To do though.
Yeah. Okay, here's another example of ratios to further your knowledge about ratios. So here we have, what is the ratio of red spiky hair faces to orange flat hair faces? So what you do is you count the number of red spiky hair faces. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 of the red hair. Then we have to count the number of orange flat hair faces. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our ratio is 4 to 5. It can be written in 3 ways. It could be written like this, using a colon, as a fraction, or using words. Now we want to find an equivalent fraction or ratio to our ratio 4 to 5. We're going to multiply each part of the ratio by 2. So 4 times 2 is 8, and 5 times 2 is 10. So our equivalent ratio is 8 to 10.
Okay, this is our last easy example about ratios and equivalent ratios. So in this case, we have hearts, and our question is, what is the ratio of brown hearts to red hearts? So we're going to do the same thing that we did in the last examples. We'll just count the first quantity. So 1, 2, 3 brown hearts. And then we'll count our next quantity, the red hearts, and we have 1, 2. So our ratio of brown hearts to red hearts is 3 to 2. And you know we can also write this as a fraction. So it'd be 3 over 2. And using words, 3 to 2. Next, we'll find our equivalent ratio. And let's just say we'll multiply our ratio by 4. Just a random number, 4. So 3 times 4 is 12. And 2 times 4 is 8. So our equivalent ratio is 12 to 8.